Welcome to the Cars and Cartridges podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, aka OG Retro. I'm here today with Chris, aka Koozie Retro Games, and a special guest,
Woo!
Retro Ali. What's going on?
Hello.
How we doing?
Doing good.
How we doing?
I'm doing great. I've got an ice cold Busch Light in my hand. I just grabbed a sweet PS2 bundle,
Okay.
and I'm going golfing after work tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, the triple
Woo.
threat.
Life can't get better.
Ali, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I had a pretty good day. It was pretty normal. I don't know. I worked, played
you go.
some games, played Animal Crossing. I just got Room Factory 4 special on Switch, so I've been playing that. And yeah, I don't know.
You're
Nothing
probably
too
like
crazy.
the biggest gamer out of the three of us.
Oh, 100%.
Really?
And it's awesome to actually have someone who plays. No, I play some of my games.
You
But
play some games.
I don't play video
I
games.
pretty much play Pokemon, and that's it. No, there's.
I mean, that's pretty much me too, honestly. Like people are always like, oh, what like franchise do you like outside of Pokemon? I'm like, I really like Animal Crossing, I love some Kirby, Final Fantasy, like,
Yeah.
but I don't really stray too far outside of like the Nintendo bubble. So
I like the PS4 exclusives, but that's PS Sony exclusive. Another topic.
Yes.
Anyways,
What do we got on the agenda for today, Ryan?
so yeah, I forgot to even say that. Today we are talking about kind of like displaying your collection. I wanted to talk about different ways, like display hacks. I wanted to call it like
Awesome.
what types of different display hacks have you thought of, or like what do you want to display that maybe you can't yet, you don't know how to display, things like that. And then we're going to talk about kind of form versus function when it comes to displaying your collection in the same realm. So like, is your collection made for more form, like playing it? Like, do you have your stuff all set up to play, or is it all set up for like a really nice display, a mix of both, whatever? And like kind of the opinions on that. We're going to talk, Chris is going to walk us through the top 5 things that we want to add to our collections, which is going to be interesting. And then lastly, talking about tops going public in the stock market, bringing the TCG scene to the stonk market through way of the NFT space and that kind of thing, which is pretty cool. And I'm sure Ali is going to contribute to all these conversations with her crazy. Do you have a really cool background? I feel like in terms of like how you come up from like Twitch and you stream, like you're a streamer.
Oh, I thought you were talking like background.
I thought you were actual background.
No,
I was like, I've got my closet open, my bed's not made.
You guys can't see the video. Ali does have a dope background.
I do. I got all my Pokemon problem here. My Pokemon
problem. No, but like, as opposed to us who are like more focused on the, I feel like the reselling kind of collecting aspect. You're definitely more of the gameplay type.
Yeah, definitely.
Give us a quick background on where we can find you, Ali, and kind of what you do.
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ali. That's just ALI. And then on everything else, literally, if you just Google Retro Ali, but Twitter, it's Retro Ali, but the O is a 0. Same with Instagram, because someone took my name. I messaged that guy on Instagram like once a month. I'm like, yo, dude, I'll buy your handle. Like,
honestly,
for real.
Ryan, I like yours because it kind of gives definition to your username, because you can't do capitalization. Because you can't do capitalization on Instagram.
Cool.
Thank
yeah,
you.
It looks cool.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. What else do I have? Yeah, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch,
SoundCloud, LinkedIn.
Check out her mixtape.
Check out the mixtapes.
Yeah, pretty much just Google Retro Ali. I'll come up. So you'll just see my face.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the first topic. Talking about, we're talking about Retro Ali's background. Talking about displaying your collection. How do you do it? Do you have any hacks? I'm looking at your background, Ali, and you have, how many plushies do you have?
I might have to get back to you.
There's a lot of plushies.
I have a lot. I mean, because I collect Pokemon. Well, I used to be more active with collecting like Pokemon plushies like a couple years ago, and then I kind of took a pause from it, and now I'm like kind of back into it. But mainly just, Raichu, as you can see. He's my fave. And then I'll go after ones of like my favorite Pokemon, like the sitting cuties that came out at the Pokemon Center is dope, because now like every Pokemon gets something. But yeah, so there's a lot of There's a lot of them.
They're like pretty neatly organized though. Are they just crammed in there, or is it just
Yeah, I kind of just sit them in that little cube thing behind me,
Works well.
and then the ones that are behind me like this are sitting on top of like one of those Pac-Man mini arcades.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a propped up.
One of the things we
awesome.
bought that we maybe shouldn't have? I don't know.
No, that
Shotgun
actually,
collecting.
no,
Yeah.
I got
You
that
like
for
that?
free because
Okay,
it was
fast.
sponsored.
Fair enough. Shout out that sponsor. Maybe not this
Yeah.
podcast, but hey. But what's it called? I think with stuff like that, like plushies and like amiibo and stuff, the more you have, honestly, the better it looks.
Yeah, I see those big amiibo collections.
If
They
you
look
do
kinda
it
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I would love to collect amiibo, but like I can see with plushies too, they take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
So you have to be
Yes.
selective with what you do and how you display. Because it could just look like a mess, but if you do it
Oh,
right,
yeah.
it does look really good.
At least looks good. And if you
Definitely.
again go to her Instagram, you can check. I'm sure you have many photos of it.
Yes, I do.
Like myself.
Yeah.
Kind of how I display
Yeah.
my games is so my situation right now, I live at home with my family, parents, brothers,
Shout
etc. And I share a room with my brother. So I don't have a ton of room, but I've got 2 bookshelves where I display all my games. I just got them from Big Lots for like $30 a piece or whatever. 2 bookshelves, nothing fancy. I have just a plastic shelf where I have all my systems on.
Okay.
And then kind of boxed systems and accessories are stacked on top of the bookshelves and on top of this like wardrobe that we have in our room. So the biggest struggle I have right now is displaying box stuff, specifically systems, because they're so big, but they
Huge.
look so nice.
Mhm.
Bro, and Chris, like you are like I could have held on to a lot of box systems and stuff I've gotten over the years, but I sold them because of space. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you're keeping a lot of the stuff, which is super cool. I'm kind of jealous of it. 'Cause
Yeah, so
when you do have space, they're gonna be amazing.
and that's
Yeah.
my thing. Me and my girlfriend actually just got pre-approved for a house.
Hey,
So
Yeah.
big news there.
so we're gonna be looking for a house here in the near future. So when I get a house and hopefully she doesn't shove everything in the basement, I will have a nice setup for it. So I mean, if you guys have any hacks on how to display box systems, I'd love to hear.
I mean, box systems are tough.
Oh.
I think the only hack I would say is like maybe diagonal. Like you wanna display them at an angle.
Because you
To
really, the
maximize
ideal thing would
space.
be to have them facing outwards, but then it's so much room.
I do the diagonal thing with my Pokemon boxes. I
Yeah.
can't turn people will be listening to this audio, but on my shelf, I have like blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal, ruby, emerald, all in a row, and they're all sort of like tilted.
That's cool.
So it's like I can fit all of them on there because if I put them all just like straight face out, you're not going to be able to.
I do
take up less room.
I do like the bookcase method, bookshelf method with my Pokemon games.
Yeah.
So the spines are facing out. And I
Mhm.
have you can see wait, it's mirrored. Whatever, the bookshelf right there.
right there.
I'm like, how do I point? The bookshelf right there, you can't see it obviously, but that has a bunch of Pokemon games and they're all, but then there's some choice games on top that I like really like.
Yeah.
Display. But then like my favorite, I think the push pin is such an undervalued tool, my friends. If
I was
you
gonna say
allowed-
thumbtack.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a thumbtack. If you're allowed to throw a push pin in the wall, I have hung up my entire N64 system collection with push pins. People ask all the time, how do you do the N64 collection, bro? All my like the full Fantastic, all the colored ones on the wall with push pins.
Because they have the little expansion pack door on this
I use the screw holes. Just all the screw holes. They're perfect,
okay.
perfect place. I made a little template out of paper, and then I just put that on the wall and just put the thumbtacks in, and
my
then remove the template, and then you're
God.
good to go.
That's genius.
Great. And the same with my hats in the background. All the thumbtacks and boom boom hats all hang on the wall. It's good. But I think I'm a big fan of the thumbtack method. So in terms
I can dig
of
that.
thumbtacks. And then also I have a 3D printer, so I like 3D print stuff to do displays and things. But
That's
even
cool.
if you don't have a 3D printer, I think buying like 3D, like you can get relatively cheap ones on like Etsy and things like for stands for
I
gaming.
got one.
There you
I
go.
have those. Yeah.
Oh, rose. You can get them on
Yeah.
rose-colored gaming
Yeah,
too.
they make really nice ones. So there's all sorts of scale of price you could spend on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think doing that kind of thing is a display hack.
And I think bookshelves are great, especially if you find some nice ones just to kind of display your games. That's great. I also, once I get a house, I'm gonna start looking more vigilante. that's even the right word, at like Goodwill, and I'm starting looking harder.
Yeah.
At like Goodwill, garage sales, or Facebook Marketplace for like a glass display with some shelves in it. So I want to put like my expensive stuff in there.
Yeah.
Kind of out of the reach of kids and things like that. So I want kind of a glass display, and if it's got some lights in it, that'd be even better.
I mean, you could put some lights in it, bro.
Get those LED strips from Amazon. Throw them in there.
Cheap and easy. Cool. And the other thing I want when I get a house is a entertainment center with a bunch of like cubes in the bottom where I will have my systems set up and ready to go. Because right now, all my systems, like I said, are just on a shelf, and all the controllers all like the cords are in gallon size Ziploc bags, like labeled like Super Nintendo Wii.
To plug everything in every time.
Every time, even I want to go test something, I go fish through this bin for the cords, fish for a controller.
I feel like hard. This segue. I mean, we have to segue in perfect form versus function conversation next. So, it sounds like your collection is specifically for like display,
and that's just my situation right now. Living at home, I can't have 12 systems hooked up to the family TV in the family room.
It's true. They'd probably be pissed at you. What about you, Allie? What do you got?
I have, like for my setup, I guess, mine's sort of a different situation since I stream. I have, that's
interesting.
So right now in front of me, I have my Animal Crossing Twitch dock that's hooked up to my capture card.
Right.
Then I have my GameCube next to that hooked up, ready to go. And I have, what's it called? The Carby HDMI adapter, one of those. Oh, yeah. So I have those two on my desk. So those are like ready to go because I stream from those.
Yep.
And then two, I guess for streaming, I have a capture carded DS, which is
that's so cool. Kind of jealous of that actually.
And then behind me on that TV, the CRT, the thing is I only have room for one console to like be hooked up at a time. So like right now, like I've beaten all the N64 games I own. I still have like 4 games I want to get on my wish list, but so right now my Super Famicom's hooked up because I have some games I want to play on that. So that one I got to swap out, which is annoying. So like my N64 is on the shelf. And then in my living room, I have another Switch dock and my PS4 set up. So mostly mine is like, everything's pretty much ready to play besides like the swapping I got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then I have like, too many Game Boys because that's my other obsession. Yeah. I have like 50 billion Game Boys just everywhere.
That's like mine too, because I stream a bit too. So I have the capture card, same thing, Elgato with the Switch dock, and then I have the PS4 actually underneath the desk.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
And then I got to my left, I got kind of some vintage systems. I got the N64, I got a GameCube, I got a Dreamcast. And a PS2. I forgot that one's like hidden, and those are all hooked up, ready to play, which is awesome. Yeah. Oh, and a Wii. And then today, because as if I don't have, I love creating setups like that. So like I got a new rolling like wire rack.
Oh, I saw you post that. Oh my god, I have one of those.
$40 at Walmart for that thing. Like amazing.
Walmart?
Yeah, shout out Walmart, dude. That was such a good shelf. It can hold like 500 pounds. So I was like, word. I built that and I put together another like specific setup for like testing. So like I can have all my systems kind of hooked up really quick and easy. Everything's like, I spend my time with wire management. So it like looks nice. It can roll around. Like I can move the whole setup like anywhere I want, which is pretty cool.
So question for you, Ryan, too, I guess, because you're talking about that and you're kind of more on the reselling side.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting a Retron specifically for testing.
That's a good
what have you thought about that? Because I mean, it's like, especially if you get one of the nicer ones, they can play like 7 different systems or whatever.
That's a brilliant idea. And honestly, should do. Can they, do you know if they hook up to like, are they just HDMI or do they have analog hookups too?
No, they've got analog hookups too, because you can test like NES, Super Nintendo,
that's
NES,
dope.
Super Nintendo, Game Gear, Game Boy, Genesis.
That's badass.
So many things.
That's badass.
I think once I get a house and I have more of a dedicated space, a dedicated workspace, I want to get a Retron because it should be so easy just to bang, 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 bang instead of unhook a system, plug a system in, or even like if you have them all hooked up, changing the AV switcher, and then if something's not unplugged you gotta reach behind the TV.
Switchers. I have a bunch of AV switchers, automatic AV switchers. It's godsend.
That's awesome.
So you just turn the power on, but before I did that, it was annoying. So.
if anybody has any specific ways they display their collection, please feel free to shoot us a DM or post pictures on your Instagram stories and tag us in.
Tag
We would
Cards
love
and
to
Crunch
see
Podcast. Would love to see the
your
collection.
collections and how you display them. One thing I've seen that I think is really cool is people use nail polish displays to display Game Boy games.
Haven't seen that.
So
I've been meaning to do that.
So a nail polish display is just like an acrylic kind of like shelf looking thing, like stairs,
Okay.
but it's like the perfect size to like tier Game Boy games.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, like the cartridges. Yeah.
The cartridges.
Yes.
Oh, that's badass. That's a cool little display hack. Another one, and this was another topic I want to just talk about. What do you guys think about acrylic cases on Game Boy games?
I was just gonna talk about that also.
I can reach it. I love mine.
Hell yeah.
But
yeah,
I have them all on like my like quote unquote expensive games. And plus like they're nice to display because like before I had them and then when I got them, I'm like, oh, like it's one, it keeps it protected. Two, if you're moving or something, you know, it obviously keeps it protected, but it's also you don't have to worry about it getting messed up or anything. And it just looks really nice.
Looks
it looks super clean and like they're all the same, like consistency
awesome.
and everything. So I definitely really like them.
I've got plastic cases from retroprotection.com. And if you guys are ever looking for just plastic cases for your games, check out Retro Protection. I've got plastic cases for anything over $100. But with the way prices are kind of getting right now, I was looking at my Sculptor's Cut and I'm like, Sculptor's Cut's like damn near $1,000 game. So I ordered a acrylic case from collectorprotector.com. Collectorprotector.com.
That's just for a cartridge.
And that's been shipped. Yeah, so that's just cartridge acrylic
that's
case.
Cool.
But and I want to get more, especially acrylic, but the price adds up.
They do.
And especially I want to get system box protectors, but those are like 25 plus a box protector, just for the plastic ones.
Yeah. It's wild.
And when I've got 30 system boxes, it's like you're looking
or
at
the ones that
grand.
are like a weird shape, you know, like I'm sure these exist, but like I just haven't found them while browsing. But like I'm looking at like, you know, like Hey You Pikachu or like the Pokemon Stadium. Those are like the weird larger
retroprotection.com.
Yeah,
but like,
I gotta get those.
That's the other thing. I was looking around for an acrylic case for this booster box. They don't exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't exist.
Oh, that's so cool.
But this thing's sweet. I was really stoked.
That was the Topps trading card booster box he was just holding.
Yeah.
That's dope. So I think if you have like the extra money and maybe you don't buy them all at once, but you kind of buy a couple each paycheck or whatever, and just slowly get them over time. I think
unless you're a baller, then just buy them all at once.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it. We can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe one. I want to.
Wedding gift. You guys can get me acrylic cases for my video games. I can be
it's on my registry, bro. It's on my registry.
My aunt's gonna be like, "What the hell are these things we're trying to buy?"
Yeah. All right, Chris. What topics you got? What are we hearing today?
Next up, like I said, I thought this would be fun with our first guest on the podcast. I want to talk about top 5 things you want to add to your collection. And maybe it's not specifically holy grail things. Maybe it's just like stuff that's eluded you and you're like, man, I can't wait to find this. It could be games or cards.
Oh man, I got my spreadsheet ready.
Start us off, Allie.
Yeah,
what's your
okay.
I'm thinking.
I gotta pick 5. Well, maybe it might be a little more than 5, but I'll just name off a few because like I have what I did today while I was at work. I was just like, you know, was looking for something to do. So I went through and like prioritized like certain ones. So let's see. Let's look at this. Okay, here we go.
This is gonna be a topic, so that's
no,
funny.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Very prepared. Okay, so in no particular order, Pokemon Red, complete in box.
Okay.
That's the only one I'm missing.
It's doable.
Gens 1 through 3.
It's doable.
That's doable. It's just annoying that the prices are crazy right now.
It is just going up.
Oh yeah, totally. And then next is 2 Game Boy Colors that are Japan exclusive. There's the Pokemon Center, the orange one, the 3rd anniversary.
That one's fire.
That one, I don't mind getting them loose. That one looks cool. And then there's the Sakura Wars, the pink one.
Yep.
It's so pretty.
It's pretty.
It's so gorgeous. I want it so bad. Let me see what else. The last GameCube game I need And last time I checked on price charting, it's like $90, and it's one of my favorite games that I regret not getting earlier is F-Zero GX.
That's insane. That's
I've got a copy.
$90.
Last
I
GameCube you need that you want, or are you going for the full set?
No, I'm just last GameCube game, just like personal.
That
Collection.
game, I checked the price of that 2 nights ago, and it's up to like
Insane.
120 on eBay.
I
It's
know.
crazy.
Goodness.
And like I don't do loose discs. Like I always do complete in box for GameCube.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, loose
So,
disc.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I guess I'll do 2 more, and then I'll do a TCG one. But I'm trying to get the Pikachu 3DS XL, the one where it's like Pikachu's got his little hands up, and then that Animal Crossing, the Pop-Tart looking one, that 3DS XL.
The Pop-Tarts.
Cool.
I like the Pop-Tart one. That's a cute one.
Yeah. And then cards, I mean, like the really expensive cards I want, like I think my number one would be the birthday Pikachu. I want to buy it graded because I had that as a kid and I lost it. And
Rip. No, yeah. That is one of my favorite cards in the collection.
Or Shining Raichu, because obviously Raichu is my favorite.
Ooh, I have one of those.
That's a banger.
Now, Ali, how do you collect? Are you the type of person kind of like buy stuff from like claim sales and eBay, or do you do a lot of like local Facebook Marketplace garage sales?
I would say, so I have like 2 or 3 like local retro stores I'll go to around where I am because I'm in Maryland.
Mhm.
So I'll do that. I'll go on eBay, and then I'll like buy and trade and sell stuff on Instagram from like, like people like you guys,
Yeah.
Those are the main things. I haven't really done Facebook Marketplace too much just because I checked it out before. I feel like that's been kind of hit or miss for me,
Mhm.
just where I am, but those are probably like the top 3 ways I like get games. So
Awesome.
Kuzi, what about you?
Going into my list, I should have been prepared.
So, question.
I know the top games I want for 2021, and each new year I write down kind of 2021 top games I want.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
And I apologize about this.
I forgive you.
These games you're going to play?
Probably not.
Okay, continue. Just want to
kind of filling in gaps in my collection.
I guess for me, I mostly play everything I own, I would say.
That's dope.
Like at some point, whether I beat it or not, completely different story.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
On the bright side, with functionality, I think I'll play more games when everything's set up.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally
It is
fair.
annoying to have to hook everything.
Super true.
I'm making excuses though.
If you have a comfortable setup, it's a lot more fun.
So I know we said top 5, but my top 10 games I wanted on my. It's my question. I can stray away from
You
this.
can do whatever you want.
Do what you want, dude.
It's a
Top
podcast.
10. Top 10.
So I have X and X2 on Super Nintendo Mega Man. I need X3.
Okay.
So I'm looking out for that. I am
Is that
missing
oh wait, on Super Nintendo?
Yes.
That's a very expensive game.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm missing a couple of the Mario Party games on 3DS, which are kind of hard to find. I'm missing Mario Party Island Tour and Mario Party the Top 100. The Mario Party games on 3DS and 3DS is starting to go crazy expensive.
3DS is nuts now. What the heck happened?
I
love my 3DS so much.
Kind of the last system I want to add. I need a Sega Master System.
Mhm.
I'm looking to
Weird.
add. I
Looks
don't
very
really
cool.
have any like random expensive DS games besides like Pokemon. So I want to add in just because simply the reason is it has a badass name, the Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the last thing I want to add there. So I'm going for the full N64 set. I want to add Worms Armageddon. I need Mega Man on Game Boy. And I actually completed 2 already. I got Chrono Trigger and Pokemon Truzzy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And my last one I want is Dokapon Kingdom on the Wii.
Such a bizarre, expensive game.
It's
Yeah.
expensive and it's Wii, which is cool. So, and the way I collect is
Yeah, you're a big Wii dude, which I appreciate.
I'm like 95% local garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist.
Savage.
So I don't buy from eBay. I don't buy from game stores. So this is just strictly if I find it in the wild, cool. But I also have a local game store to where and Ryan sent me his trade-ins. I'm going this Sunday. I will take anything. I take a tote full of loose discs, scratched.
How big was the box? I said
Oh my
20
God.
pounds, right?
Yeah, it's like 22 pounds.
I said 22 pounds of shitty games.
of junk. Like I would like loose discs, scratch discs, anything. You can take them 14 copies of Madden 06 on GameCube and they'll take every single one.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
So I've got like $500 in store credit
Maybe
there
they
right now.
melt them down for parts. What are they doing?
No, their store is stacked floor to ceiling. And if you go to like the Xbox 360 game, they'll have 30 Madden 12s just like sitting there.
God.
And it's like,
What the
why?
fun? Yeah, what are they doing?
But okay, so I have about $500 in store credit there right now, and I'm hitting their Sunday, and I'm hoping to get between 150 and 200 in store credit that I have. So I'm pissed because I've been saving for the last year for a Game Boy kiosk,
And it's sold.
and stupid people with their stimulus checks and their tax returns think they can ball out, and they bought it.
Yeah, Stimmy checks will do that to you, bro. Stimmy checks
God.
will get the deals out from under you.
So I follow them on Facebook and Instagram. I'm just waiting for them to get something traded in, like
Really
stunt
cool.
racer or just something random expensive. I'm like,
Mhm.
I got $700 in store credit that I brought you Madden games for to burn.
That's so cool, dude. I gotta send you more boxes. I'm just gonna keep because I just have, I mean, as someone who buys big lots of stuff, you get those like
This
Mhm.
lot I picked up today, 50 PS2 games. I bet you 30 of those are going to trade in.
yeah. PS2 is an easy system to get junk games for, though.
Exactly.
I will say.
So I will update next week on how my trade-in went.
All right,
Yeah.
top 5 for me though. Top 5 for all right. Number 1, sealed copy of Pokemon Silver.
Yeah.
Easily. If I could somehow get that for a reasonable price, and reasonable is still obviously expensive at this point. Like I can't
Mhm.
unless
Was
I
that like $1,000?
probably a bit more at this point, probably closer to 2.
Both of you have
Mhm.
said complete box Pokemon games, and I know I've talked about it recently. I hope my misprint copy of Crystal
yeah.
comes back authentic.
So
Wait,
bizarre.
misprint copy of Crystal.
Got
What
a
is
very-
this?
Yeah.
Talk to-
So I sent so I'm in a couple retro gaming discords, and we
Yeah.
allow buy sell trade in them, and somebody posted a complete in box copy, like they needed money quick. They posted a complete in box copy of Crystal for $250, which
Oh
is
my God,
already a
deals.
great deal.
Tons of
It's
deals.
like
Yeah.
400 box
Yeah.
is crushed, whatever. I claimed it, got it in the mail. The entire back text is shifted, so you can see the outline of like where the logo is supposed to be or text, and
like a
everything's
printing error.
down.
Yeah.
So it looks like
That's
the press
sick.
came
Yeah.
down and just like misaligned or
Smudged.
something
I mean,
like
that
that.
happens to
Oh.
Pokemon cards pretty often.
Yeah.
They do,
Oh
like,
yeah.
text shifts or whatever.
But I talked to
Mhm.
Ryan, I posted in a few Facebook groups and people think it's real. And the guy I bought it from was cool. He goes, "Yeah, I didn't really think anything of it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna send it to WADA, let
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
authenticate it. If it's authentic, they'll grade it. It's gonna get a crappy grade because it's a bad condition box,
But
but
it's still like an error box.
Pokemon misprint graded."
Did you ask him to
Oh.
put that qualifier?
Yep.
Like,
So
oh,
I
that's
so I
dope.
emailed them before and I was
Oh,
like, "Hey, I
that's
think I
sick.
have this misprint copy of Crystal. If it turns out to be authentic and a misprint, will you guys note that on the label?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we'll note that on the label." And
Dude,
then when I
that's
sent it, in, I
so
included a
sick.
note in the
That's
package
cool.
too.
That would be with that.
I can't believe I don't think somebody would fake. I feel like if it were fake,
They would
it's like
get
based
it
off like
closer to right, or like I don't know.
like
'cause I
yeah, like
noticed-
who would fake it that badly?
Right.
Because like the
You know?
Nintendo seal was like blurry. It was like doubled. Like the text overlapped, so it was like blurry
Yeah.
and doubled. I was like, okay, that's fake. Maybe it's the one, but that the closer I looked, the entire back is just shifted
yeah.
down.
And it
Exactly.
still had the like metallic sheen that
Yeah,
Crystal's
everything
supposed
else,
to
like the
have. Everything
flaps, the
checked out.
codes,
Yeah,
and
I
the
remember
characters
you-
on the
I
flaps
remember
look
you
good.
showing me all those pictures. I was like, yeah, dude, it looks like a legit Crystal box.
And the guy
Mhm.
was cool. He was like, if it turns out to be fake, I'll give you a refund. And then,
Yeah,
so I
that's-
think
Mhm.
WADA
Got
charges
nothing to
$100.
lose.
WADA
Yeah.
charges $110 to grade a complete in box game, which is kind of crazy.
Kind of ridiculous, but I just
And-
don't understand grading complete in box games unless it's something like this.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I thought it was special. But if it
Yeah, I
turns
agree.
out to be fake, they only charge you $15 for their time and
Oh,
research.
that's lit.
So I was like, it's
Oh.
worth it.
It's like a
Yeah, yeah,
super no
definitely.
brainer then.
Yeah.
When did you send that out?
It got there March 9th. All right, I started the order March 19th, so it probably got there a week after or so.
Not bad. All right, so we got a
So,
bit of waiting to do.
about a
probably
month
2
maybe.
months,
I
yeah,
mean,
2 months.
but then yours took a while to ship back to you.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, Pikmin was done for like a week or more before it shipped back. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, whatever.
I'll update you guys in a month and a half or so.
Yeah. That's wild.
Sorry
But-
to cut you off, Ryan.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Otherwise, so I said, what did I say so far? I
Silver.
said one thing. Yeah, sealed
Sealed
copy of
silver.
Silver, which I'd then get graded because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Then a really nice PVM, like a holy grail PVM, like maybe like a 20L5, which is, you know, it's a sick PVM. It's like probably a $2,000-$3,000 monitor. But I've personally, that's one thing I'm good at finding, like monitors and shit. Like I've been very savvy with, and I've gotten really good deals on stuff like that. So I'll hold out for one of those until I get a good deal on it. And then like TCG again. I mean, the baller in me wants to say like first edition Lugia. Like I would
Oh
love to get a first edition
yeah.
Genesis Lugia. That would be unreal. Graded in like a 9.5 Beckett.
You
I don't know.
talked about that
times
stuff.
five.
I want my group sub back from
Oh my god.
August.
Oh my god. Me too, dude.
Oh
Me
my
too.
God.
Fire stuff.
I have a first edition Typhlosion at PSA right now. That is literally, I've been planning. That's
So
gonna
do
be
I.
bonus, dude. Like
I've got one too.
bonus for the year.
I've got a first edition
Oh, you
hollow
got-
Typhlosion.
But you got the other, not the
Oh.
217.
I don't know what that is, so maybe mine is.
No, you sent me a picture. It's the other one.
It is.
It's the other one.
There's one that's worth like dumb money, and then there's one that's
Isn't it
still
like
worth.
the card numbers and errors? Is that what it is?
No, there's literally two different cards
What's the
in the same
T17?
set.
It's a
It's just
different artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so the card number's T17?
yeah. It's like they just call it T17, like Typhlosion 17, or
17,
Typhlosion
yeah.
16 is the other one,
Oh,
or maybe 18. It's one of them. But
okay.
for
It's
instance,
17 and 18. I have
17 and
my
18. There you
I'm
go.
trying to get those two cards and
There
I
you
have my
go.
spreadsheet up.
So it's
So,
17 and 18. So yeah, it's so there's and the other 18 is starting to increase in value a lot more now too. I have that in first edition too, but I didn't send it
So
off for
pissed we
grading.
sent those bulk.
Oh, we were idiots. We were young and dumb kids before we knew what we were doing in this world of TCG grading and everything like that. We were so
Ryan and Chris are just in it for the money. They just got into Pokemon recently.
yeah. No. We just didn't know how to grade, dude. And
Yes.
we didn't understand bulk subs would not take the advertised time, dude. Bulk subs are taking years and years, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. So what am I? I'm at like 3 things.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Kuzi's cut you off 3 times, so
It is what it is. I'd say, when I do have a house, I would love a stand-up N64 kiosk.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap kiosk would be
Oh, that's like my
That's like
dream.
Grail.
Dream. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Same.
yeah,
Same.
Super Grail would be a Pokemon Snap kiosk. Just because, I mean, come on.
That's it.
That's
That's
really
it.
it. That's it. You got one of those in your house. You're living.
There was one near me for sale like maybe a year or two ago, but it was like super overpriced. I was
Yeah.
like, not that I like had the room ready
I would
for it, but
literally
was
buy
like,
a storage unit for one.
Just
If
to
I
store
got-
it right
if I
now.
got a good enough price
Yeah.
on it, like
Pay your
Hell
roommate
yeah.
to keep it in his room.
yeah,
So I got less crap than you.
exactly. But yeah, I think that, I mean, that we'll do that as 5 because I can't think. I told Ali, I feel like before you hopped in the call, Chris, I was
Yeah.
saying like I have such ADHD in how I collect. Like sometimes I want something, then I want another thing. That I don't have like any set. I really should set more goals, but it is what it
Are you
is.
guys okay with a little bit of a condition issue? My buddy is so OCD about his collection. If he gets a game and say it's a nice game and they one he wants, if there is the slightest nick in the label,
oh,
he'll sell it.
no. I'm not
Uh,
super picky personally, as
it
long
just
as it's not like
depends,
destroyed.
yeah, same.
Like,
And especially if you're getting it at a garage sale for $2, it's like you can't
Oh,
really
yeah.
complain. If you're
Yeah.
paying up for it, you're gonna look for the nicest copy. But
yeah.
man,
yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. I understand why people like want to go
I get
for,
it.
like the nicest
Yeah.
of the nice, and if you have that kind of, because it's just like that's another tax bracket, bro. If you're,
Yeah.
if you're collecting like the super minty, you're in another tax bracket. So
Yeah. Like there's some
Exactly.
games I would love to like quote unquote upgrade, but it's
Yeah.
like I'm just happy having it. So like
yeah,
if the opportunity presented itself, I'm not gonna say no.
right.
But like I don't got the money to like go
Yeah.
look for like
Exactly.
and that's how I am. So going for the full N64 set and the way I collect at garage sales, you're gonna get stuff with bad labels or ripped up back labels.
Yeah.
And how my shelf is set up. The right side of my shelf is things that need label upgrades. The left side is all ready to go. So when I
You're
get a game,
so
I know
organized, bro.
just to look at the right side and scan, like, does it need a label upgrade or not?
You're a genius.
good idea.
It's very smart. It's very smart.
So kind of transitioning into geniuses, Ryan is also
Oh.
a genius and he knows a lot about the stock market. So I wanted to
Hi.
bring up the conversation of tops going public.
It's interesting, dude.
It really is. So I wrote down some notes here. So they're going public with so I'm gonna spit out some things. If I don't make sense, I don't really know the stock market. Ryan can always correct me. Ali, I don't know how
Try to
versatile you are in the stock
Game
market.
stonks. That's all I know.
But so they're valued at 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
And another number I saw was crazy, and it just goes along with the kind of boom in cards. And I'd love to see their revenue or their sales for 2021, because in 2020 they had sales of 567 million, which was a 23% increase from 2019.
Wow.
And I feel like 2021 is even bigger, going to be bigger. So it's like, I wonder what 2021 is going to increase from 2020. And I guess my first question, Ryan, maybe you can answer this, is so Topps has been publicly traded. This will be the third time.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
This will be the third time Topps has become a publicly traded company. The first was in 1972, and then it went private again in 1984, following a $98 million buyout. Then Topps went public again in 87 and remained that way until 2007, when it was acquired by some company like Mitchell Anheuser led company, and then it's going public again now. So do you know why companies will go public, not go public, go public, not go public?
It sounds like in that case, if a company's bought out, the company can then decide to
the new company that bought them out.
Yeah, and then, or if that other company wasn't publicly traded to begin with and they just bought Topps, then that's another option. I think a company can just delist itself from the market. If they go bankrupt, that's another possible option. There's like a lot of reasons you could. And then this time they're going public, like by ways of a SPAC. And the SPAC is just like it's like a company that helps companies go public by raising capital and like pretty much just being a bank for the company.
They call them like a blank check company.
Exactly. It's pretty much like they just are the capital behind this company going public. So we'll see. I don't know too much as to why like Topps is trying to like. Did you read anything as to like what their plans are? Why are they trying to do this? Or are they just trying to make more,
I think it might be just
raise more equity?
Yeah, and there's like the boom in trading cards. Like there's never been a better time, and they're doing a lot of stuff with their like, and I guess the boom in NFTs too, which we've talked about on the podcast. So Topps is doing a new thing called Topps created their Topps Now program, which is like of the moment cards. So if like a big play happens or there's something in like culture or a meme, Topps will make a card about it. So two that I saw recently, I guess the defining moment was shout out the Detroit Tigers. Miguel Cabrera on opening day hit the first home run of the 2021 season, and it was snowing here in Detroit. So they made like a Topps Now and digital card for like him hitting a home run in the snow.
Wow.
And then you guys know the meme that was going around when the presidential inauguration was happening with the Bernie Sanders kind of sitting there with his legs and arms crossed?
Yeah.
They made a card for that, like a defining like meme culture moment. And they sell them on like Topps.com for like 20. I can't remember if it's 24 or 48 hours.
Yeah, it's 24. I'm looking right now. And it's so how many of these do they put in circulation on the blockchain?
However many people buy it is however many they print.
Interesting.
So there's not a set, which I think they would be valued more if they did like this one's gonna have a 2,000 print run.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like I'm looking at it right now. This is crazy, dude. NFTs. Ali, do you know about NFTs?
I've all the Pokemon TCG podcasts I listen to, that's all they're talking about. Okay. So like I have a very vague idea of it.
No, but same here. But I just know that it's crazy. I'm looking at the Topps Now website. And I love Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, career retrospective Topps Now Chrome card ends in 23 days, and they're going for $574.
So they'll also do ones, I think they're doing it with the Topps Now cards. Wow. I can't remember. But in 2020, they did Topps Project 2020, and they're also doing it in 2021, but I followed it more in 2020, and I got burned bad. I jumped on the FOMO train. bought cards, and the day I bought the cards was the day the bubble burst, and I got burned.
Yeah, the NFT bubble seemed to be kind of bursting a little bit too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Paying attention to it.
But one thing they're doing with the Topps project cards is so they bring in artists and they do their artist spins on past cards, and then they
That's
release them
fire.
on the website.
Oh, that's
But they do
interesting.
like they'll reduce, so the base card is however many people purchase is however many the print run is, but then they'll do like 10 cards which are artist prints, so people will try to get the artist prints, and that's out of
Oh.
10. Or they'll do like, they'll say they do a Mike Trout card and the population, the print run is 7,000. Randomly inserted will be 14 like autograph cards. Will he'll actually come in and autograph the artist cards.
But it's a digital autograph.
Yeah.
So Project 2020 was not digital. That was like actual cards. I'm not sure. Is Topps now more digital?
Topps now it's all NFTs, no?
I think so. I think they're doing more with NFTs now. I think
choose smart post. Wait.
I don't know. I don't know if Topps now is actually NFTs. I may be wrong.
Okay.
I think they're actually shipping them to you.
All
But I
right,
think
that
Topps
makes more,
has.
way more sense. And if this is like an actual Derek Jeter autograph, this is pretty sick. Then it's
So I think Topps has things in the work for NFTs, but I think I stand corrected. The Topps now is actually cards that ship to you.
Okay, fair enough. But Topps is trying to get into the NFT space.
100%. I mean, it's still so new, so it'll be interesting to, because right now you have like, I guess the biggest card NFT we see right now, and which we talked about, is NBA Top Shot.
Yeah.
So, which I think the hype has really died down around that, because I'm in a lot of like, I'm in the card community big on Twitter. I feel like the card community is kind of big on Twitter versus Instagram, and Top Shot has really died down, I believe.
I don't know. People said it was going to happen.
And that kind of leads us into our viewer question of the week. So my buddy Dane actually asked us a viewer question. Shout out Dane. Went to high school with him and things like that, and he's my buddy. He collects kind of like, he sees me and my buddy Jake collect. He'll go to garage sales with us. He'll just kind of tag along and hang out. But he texted me the other night, and I've sold him a few games, just $5, whatever, get him good games for cheap. And he texted me and he goes, dude, you're helping me start collecting. And I was like, okay, like, do you want to like collect, or do you want to resell? How do you want to do it? And his question of the week goes through it. He goes, with a spike in game collecting and prices, are we going to see a big decline in the future, or do you think these things are just going to continue going up and up?
I don't think it would be. I feel like eventually the prices will have to drop. I don't think like, Pokemon Black and White or Black and White 2 is going to be like $100 plus game forever. But I definitely don't think it's gonna, dip down to something like super low, because I just feel like with quarantine and the pandemic and everything, like the demand, like everybody being at home, like that's a big part of the reason why everything spiked. So like I still think, that'll slowly kind of slow down, but I don't think I want things to go back to how they were like pre-pandemic with prices, obviously, but like I think eventually, hopefully it'll slow down to that point, but I don't think it'll necessarily like completely collapse and everything, just because of like, with like, I mean, grading cards and games has always been a thing, but I think that's definitely seen obviously a huge, increase,
and he kind of had a part two to that. He goes, kind of, are the games gonna, because he talked about like, especially with the grading, I feel like grading is kind of the games and cards are more in the hands of, especially when you get to more very expensive stuff, are more in the hands of investors versus collectors.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I've talked about this a lot with different people. I think they're games that are rare right now, like games that are hard to find right now, are only gonna stay hard to find.
Exactly.
And also, not only did the stimulus and the pandemic and all that provide the like cash into the market, like provide that cash available for entrance in the market or collecting and everything, but also like, because that happened, that got people hooked. Like people are now into it. Like it's like a new hobby that they found. And so like I think that increase in demand it's gonna stay. We have a bunch of new collectors. Like that's just it. And the games that are rare, like complete box Pokemon games, like hate to say it, like I don't think we're gonna see those games decrease in value. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't
Glad I
think they're
got
gonna
'em when I
keep going
did.
up,
Yeah,
up
me
and up,
too.
but there's obviously gonna be a dip, and that's how markets work. Now,
Yeah.
Allie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt you collect Atari.
No. I'm familiar
Ryan,
with it though.
Yeah.
I know when we resell, we see Atari and we're kind of just like, ew, I don't want to pick up
Ew.
Atari.
Yeah.
So
barely
I
ever.
feel like that's more of like the people who enjoyed Atari are too old to collect now. Kind of the next system up is NES. Do you think we're gonna see a decline in NES prices in
Ooh,
the future
that's a
as
good
people who are like
question.
hardcore collecting NES get too old? And like
Yeah.
Ryan, like us, we or Ellie,
I don't give a
I'm sorry, I
fuck
don't know
about
how old
NES.
you are,
I'm
but like
26.
all right, so we're all around the same
Hey,
age.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
So like we grew up with like PS2 and GameCube, and that's why you're
Mm.
seeing PS2 and GameCube prices start to go through the roof
Yeah.
because us in our 20s, we now have access to adult money.
Exactly what I was
So we're
gonna talk
like,
about.
let's buy stuff we had as a child. We didn't grow up with the NES, so we're not going to be specifically going after NES. But like, if you just have a random buddy who doesn't collect, he's like, man, I really want a GameCube, 4 controllers, and Double Dash again, just to relive my childhood with my
Mhm.
buddies. And that's just another person hopping in to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Like, but I know a couple of older collectors who just love like that older shit. Like NES is their jam, CIB NES, CIB Atari, even like that. And I'm like, I look at
You
that
said
shit and I'm like,
older
just,
collectors. There's
yeah,
not many 22-year-olds that are hard on NES.
exactly. No.
I think
And
I know like one person in that suit.
that's even harder. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Maybe there
Yeah.
will, maybe, I don't know, like, yeah, maybe in 20 years, 30 years, prices will.
NES is gonna be the new Atari, and then we're just
Well, yeah.
as people get older and systems get older, I think we're just gonna
Mm.
see it just a slow trend of
Mhm.
as systems get older, they start to decrease in price. Like, and
Yeah.
I think something like the Wii U
Never even thought of
and
that.
Wii U and Vita could be one of the most
Oh,
collectible
totally.
systems, just because
Yep.
Vita is already impossible to find. It wasn't that great of a selling system, and then Wii U has one of the smallest libraries. So when you get to collectors, some collectors are like, I want a full
Yeah.
set of something, and Wii U's only got
Mhm.
192 games or whatever.
it's
That's obtainable. So you're gonna see
Yeah.
a lot of people start to go for the Wii U set.
It's
The thing is
bizarre.
with Wii U too, is like with the gamepad and everything, it's like you have to have that with it, or like, you know, it can't be broken or whatever. So that's a whole nother part of the equation. But I've talked about that a lot on my stream, where it's like you go through these like generational sort of like trends where, like, you know, right now what's
Yeah.
popping is like, you know, like PS2, GameCube, you know, that kind of era.
Yep.
And like N64 started popping, you know, I guess like a few years ago, and it still is really popular.
Yep.
Yeah.
And SNES still expensive, but maybe, you know, more people are looking for the more quote unquote modern stuff. But yeah, with like
Yeah.
NES, for example, I don't know if you guys listen to Pat the NES Punk. He has
Yep.
a podcast. Yeah, and he's talked about that on his podcast, where, you know, obviously he's older than us and
Yeah.
he collects NES, and he's
Yeah.
saying how like he's even noticed, like, you know, the NES prices like start out dirt cheap, you know, maybe like back, you know, in the 90s or whatever, because everybody's like, oh, it's old, who cares? And then it increases when like that generation gets
Yep.
back into
It's
it.
so
But
interesting.
now it's like,
Starting to come
yeah, you
down.
probably have your one guy. Like, I can think of one person that I know that like has a shitload of NES games. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I like some NES games. Do I want to collect them? Not necessarily, but you'll have
And
your
that's the
people that are
thing.
interested.
You're gonna
in it.
collect
Yeah.
what you like, or you're gonna have those collectors that go after rare stuff. But are these just and the NES has such a big library? Just are the
The rare
majority of
games. Yeah, the rare
are the
games.
majority of NES games going to be like the majority of Atari games where they're just not worth anything?
And the rare games aren't even that good sometimes.
No.
That goes for
That-
any system, but I feel like especially NES.
100%. But I think with anything, and this is what I remind people crossing over another thing, I remind people
Mhm.
about this with Pokemon, is that even so, the rare stuff is always gonna be rare. Like, and like, and when I say like, people think like, you know, a base set unlimited Charizard Holo, like they think that's rare, but in reality, like that's one of the most printed sets of all time, and there are
Mhm.
so many base set unlimited Charizards. But if you look at something like, you know, the Gold Star Rayquaza from EX Legends, I think it is, or whatever set it was from,
Mhm.
like one of those cards where like the print run was so much smaller,
Yeah.
the like supply and demand equation for value, like it just looks way different. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
the same thing. I was thinking NES, like Little Samson. That game, to those hardcore NES collectors, it's
Mario.
yeah, the demand is high enough to, I think that the price, it's going to support that price for like a long time.
Mhm.
Whereas that, like those other games that might have been like $25 games just due to the hype, like maybe Contra or something. That was a game printed, so many copies of Contra 3, whatever it
Mhm.
was on the NES, or Castlevania, Simon's Quest, any of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Those games were printed so much, and while that price might be bought up due to like demand right now, I think what you're saying, those types of games are going to be the ones that equation, the supply and demand equation, will level out. Whereas like the rare stuff is still going to be, the demand and the lack of supply is going to support those higher
Mhm.
prices going forward.
Because like I don't collect for Atari, and the only rare Atari games that come to mind, I don't know, man, I think there's one called like Pepsi Invaders that is a very rare and expensive game. But like if I found
Sounds
Pepsi,
fun.
if I found it's literally like Coke, like pop
Oh
Pepsi.
my god.
And I think if I found that, I'd keep it just because it's a rare and expensive game. And there's collectors
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, definitely. What's interesting too, on going on like on top of that, like discussing an NES, because I've heard of this happening before, but then you throw into the equation of people finding, whether this is TCG or games, the rare occasion when somebody finds like a whole case or shipping box of an old game.
There
Like
you
there
go.
was
Yeah, I was
there was
gonna
a
say that.
guy, there's some guy that like had a case of like stadium events.
He
or
lives in
something.
Michigan.
Oh, he does?
He lives in northern
Oh,
When did that
Michigan.
happen?
dude,
Is
you
this
got,
Um,
gotta
recent?
find him.
You heard it,
This
Al.
is
You heard it on the Pat the NES Punk. I'd
yeah,
assume.
he
Yeah.
he talks
What's
about
it?
him.
What's his name?
Something
Steve or
Atwood.
something? Oh, Tim Atwood.
Tim Atwood,
Why
yes,
does
that's
it
his
sound
name.
familiar? Like
Because
this.
he's a huge collector and he has
Okay.
a
But
bunch of
he's
sealed
super low
games.
key, which is
Yeah.
very interesting.
But he
I'm
lives
sure,
in
and
northern
there's so
Michigan.
many people like that. That's the thing. We don't know how many games are really out there either.
Exactly, because not everybody's doing what we're doing, where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
not
we're all
everybody's
on social
publishing.
media, and some people just want to like do their own thing and like keep it private, and like I totally respect that. And I think
100%.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing is with people making the assumptions that like, oh, everything I see on eBay or Instagram or whatever site it is, that's all that's out there. Like, nah, like
Nah.
especially I feel like with
You're
TCG,
right.
like with Pokemon TCG, with like the rare cards and stuff, that like there's maybe only one of it, versus games are obviously more of a mass produced thing. Like I feel like you see that even more, where people come out of nowhere with like a trophy card or something.
Something cool
Yeah.
that sports cards do is they will actually number their cards. Like this is out of
Hmm.
99
That
or
is
out of
cool.
4.
Pokemon should
So
do
you
that.
know exactly how many are out there. And the crazy thing is you could have out of 10, but out of those 10, how many just went to a kid who mom
Yeah.
bought him a pack at the store and the kid threw it in his shoebox?
Yeah.
Or 2, how many of those 10
Uh,
are an investor who bought the box and kept the
It's
box
still
sealed? It's
sealed.
never going to be found.
Yo, sports cards are a whole different ball game. I've said it before. It's insane.
That's insane. Or that reminds me of like the Wizards of the Coast employees that have like the uncut Pokemon sheets and like the Blastoise and stuff. If you guys saw that,
That
the Proto
is-
Blastoise.
I've seen. Oh, that's crazy. That CGC.
Oh, it's so cool.
So cool. But also, there's a cool, fun history. Raichu Gold Star. The Raichu Gold Star card is the most popular, or the card with the most population in PSA at all those, because an employee back when they were producing them, like came out of the store with like binders and binders full of Raichu Gold
Wow.
Stars. So Raichu Gold Star is like a way significantly more popular Gold
That's
Star card than any of the other
interesting.
Gold Star cards. So
Crazy.
But that just goes to show you, like, really anything could happen, and there could be employees that took shit like years ago that are still
Mhm.
sitting on it. You know?
And maybe they
Oh,
don't
that
even
is so
know.
crazy.
Maybe they're just so out of the loop that they
Yeah.
just have this
Well,
stuff in the base.
yeah.
And that's the thing I want to find at a garage sale. I want to go to a
Oh
garage
my
sale,
Oh
find
my
somebody
God.
who's like,
to
or an
Seattle,
estate
Washington,
sale,
somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
sale that they're like, the grandpa died and he worked for Nintendo. He just got boxes of shit.
My,
Bruh.
my uncle works for
Washington.
Nintendo.
Oh,
What's interesting about that
I'm gonna
too
go-
is like sometimes with these people that like work at a company and then they leave and you get older or whatever, and you hold on to this stuff. There's some people that like know what they have, and
Mhm.
like we're very involved in like whatever company it is. And then there's some people that's just like that was just a period of their life and they happen to
Yep.
have that stuff and they just
And it's
don't
done.
care or don't know, and they're like, okay, I want to get it, sell it to somebody that knows what it is. But like, you know, to some people it's like, you know, oh, like
Anybody
that's
can have anything.
Yeah.
You do say
That's
that.
what I
very
always say.
interesting.
All right.
Well, I
Do we
think
have
this was a
anything
fun
else? Yeah,
episode.
this was awesome. Allie, thanks for
Yeah.
joining us today. Do you have anything
Yeah, it was
you
super
wanted to
fun.
say? Anything, any comments, questions?
I don't know, just
Yeah,
follow
you
me on
want-
Instagram at Retro
Plug-
Alley
plug
with
the
the zero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And we'll throw all your
super
links in
fun.
description. So
Yeah,
we
we'll-
hope you guys enjoyed episode 9 of the Cards and Cartridges podcast. We're about to hop on over to our live claim sale. Live claim sales happen Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/0G Retro. It's a great time. We sell retro video games, systems, accessories, Pokemons for crazy good deals.
Real life Pokemons. We sell them.
Real life Pokemon, yes.
We sell
Yes.
Pokemons.
Ryan will dress up in a Pikachu Halloween costume and
Actually,
surprise
Professor Oak costume. Oh well, yeah, true.
Dude,
But
yeah, you should
And if
do
it's your
oh.
birthday, he'll show up in a Misty costume. But that's a story for another time. We hope you
Yo,
guys
sup,
enjoyed.
goal.
Like, subscribe, give us a follow. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Peace. Allie, peace out.